Hey there, and welcome back to another Miraculous Ladybug Season 2 Retrospective review, where I go through older episodes of Miraculous I never made a review on and give my thoughts. Today we're looking at the debut of probably the most prominent of the side character heroes. It's either her or Bunnix. Of course, we're talking about Rena Rouge and the episode Sapotis. I remember this one being massively hyped when it first came out, and so let's see if it still holds up today. Okay, so the episode begins with Marinette and Alia seemingly having a sleepover at Alia's house, whilst also babysitting Alia's younger sisters. That's all well and good. After all, Marinette's a seasoned babysitter, so it does make sense for them to be trusted with this. What did make me laugh, though, was that Alia's mum is calling Marinette to talk about what's going on and checking in. Not her own daughter, who's also at the apartment. Not a hugely ringing endorsement of her own daughter, is it? Ouch. Ready to get on with her evening, Alia grabs the twins under each arm, geez, pretty strong, and carries them off to bed. They, of course, don't want to go to sleep because little kids never want to go to sleep, do they? And so they complain until Alia and Marinette seemingly convince them by telling them if they don't sleep now, they're not going to have fun at the amusement park tomorrow. Too bad for them, 4-year-olds often have poor self-control and struggle to see the bigger picture, and so they're clearly not going to suddenly start obeying the rules. Rookie mistake, really. Which is kind of strange considering Alia knows these kids very well, being their sister and all. How could this be taking her by surprise? We then get a little bit of exposition about the Sapotis and what they are, before Alia reveals that she's been doing some research on Ladybug. She's discovered that Ladybug has been around since ancient times, but she doesn't believe it's the same Ladybug that's currently in Paris. She can't possibly be that old. Thus, she's downloaded some random app that's somehow able to age a person's voice by analysing sound bites. Thus, Alia's determined that Ladybug has to be around their age. Does a woman's voice really change all that much throughout their teenage years? Wouldn't there be a slightly wider range than just our age, as Alia says? Also, is Alia seriously the only person putting in the work to research Ladybug? For me, you'd think this would be considered a bigger deal. If there's art of Ladybug confirmed from the times of ancient Egypt, surely there's art of this specific heroic figure appearing throughout history in different cultures. Same with the Black Cat. Hell, don't we actively know that Joan of Arc was openly the Ladybug wielder during the 100 Years' War in this universe, and that Black Cat was fighting for the English? On top of that, the Nazis clearly knew about these heroes. This means they probably had appeared in Europe more recently, specifically in Paris with Fu handing them out sometimes, hence why they tried to hunt him down. So with all that being said, you'd think it'd be a far bigger deal than just a teenage superfan journalist documenting all of this on her blog. Governments, academics, even just online sleuths would be all over this in reality. Of course, Marinette begins to panic because Alia's figured out the age of Ladybug. Big whoop, how many 14 to 15-year-old girls live in Paris? I'm willing to bet it's quite a lot. Luckily for Marinette though, Alia loses her train of thought because her little sisters snuck out and somehow stole an entire pitcher of orange juice. Man, they really just sculled that, hey? That much orange juice and a little girl before bed? Poof. They claim it was the Sapotis, and so they avoid getting in trouble somehow. And Alia goes back to her original train of thought about Ladybug as Marinette continues to spiral. Alia then decides that the way to find out who Ladybug is to find a high school girl their age who's always late. Why late though? Because she's often out fighting crime? Just a weird thing to throw out there. Also, does she realize how little that would narrow it down in a city of 2 million people? Plus, if you include just the Paris region, which seems reasonable considering how fast Ladybug and Cat Noir can run and swing, thus making it possible to live in the suburbs and still make it to the CBD to fight villains rather quickly. So suddenly that number balloons out to what, 12 million? Good luck with that, Alia. Good luck. Plus, how is she going to do this in the first place? It's not like she goes to the only high school in Paris to begin with. She was doomed to fail. The girls, of course, keep acting naughty and steal the cantaloupe slices, somehow without them noticing that the door was opened right behind them, and also not noticing these little girls just chowing down. At that point, you can't even be angry. You've played yourself. She scolds them again, then they once again mess around coming out and turning on the TV to watch cartoons. Nah. When I was 4, I would never push it this far. Taking their day away at the theme park was a well-deserved punishment if you ask me. They, of course, then have a cry, and this is where Creeper Gabe enters the story ready to prey on children. The kumatizing people is always a bad thing, of course, but it always feels so much sketchier when he's targeting little kids. What a degenerate. Whilst Marinette and Alia discuss the importance of Ladybug maintaining a secret identity, Creepy Gabe akumatizes the girls, and once again runs into the same old problem he does whenever he akumatizes children. He clearly has no idea how to talk to them. Remember the time he akumatized a baby and got frustrated the baby wasn't listening properly to him and coming up with good plans? Good times. So the girls are turned into the Sapotis, and essentially their whole thing is just being naughty and doing naughty things, then multiplying after they eat so they can keep being naughty and doing naughty things. They trash the apartment, then they swarm into the streets, where they get people to crash their cars and run for their lives. They hijack Jagged Stone's taxi and take him and Penny for a high-speed joyride through the streets. They seemingly eat an entire bin's worth of garbage to keep multiplying. Ugh, drinking the bin juice. They attack a couple on a romantic rickshaw ride through Paris. They harass a random city council worker, and was this guy just raking the grass? Really? Not a leaf in sight, and also, dude, it's nighttime. Go home! Finally, they invade the TV studio and take over the broadcast, which Adrian watches from home. In response to this, our heroes both suit up to go and confront the menaces once and for all. I also have to say, Plag just storing his soft cheese in the open air after it's been sliced? Nah, just nasty. Also, my god, the smell in that cupboard is gonna be legendary for sure. Ripe. Our heroes converge on the carnage only to find a horde of these things, with them quickly realizing that in order to release the Akuma and save the day, they need to destroy the original hat worn by the original Sapotis. The only problem is, they have no idea which one it is, so they begin their slow task of trying to defeat them all. They have some success, but the problem with being in a big city is that there's food all around for them to steal and eat and keep the numbers growing. In my book, the Sapotis go from being villains to anti-heroes when they lay a righteous beatdown upon known loser and shipper of miners, Andre the Ice Cream Man. And they rob him for all he's worth. Excellent. Leave him to his fate, heroes. Sadly, they don't. They begin to fight with the Sapotis, just endlessly spawning because of the ice cream cart. They become surrounded on the bridge with no hope of victory, and so Ladybug uses her lucky charm and gets a teapot, which in turn reminds her of Fu, so off she goes whilst Cat Noir holds off the horde. She goes over to Fu's place and tells him that her lucky charm led her there, and so he decides that she needs the help of another miraculous user. Not to be that guy, but I'm gonna be. Any reason why he doesn't just go himself? I get that he's old and whatever, but we see him fight a bit in Season 3, it's not like it goes badly. Then there's that time that Feast tries to eat him, and he's capable of cycling across Paris with all his shit on his back. Man's just lazy, I swear. He's so conflicted about letting another Miraculous out of his sight, and yet he doesn't even consider going out to help, simply because he threw out his back in the Origins episode. I know I'm clowning on him here, but I gotta say this scene was awesome. It has a really good backing track, really awesome visual when you see the box and all the Miraculouses. There's so much mystery and suspense, it's just great. Marinette takes the Fox Miraculous and heads over to Alia, where in broad daylight, well, not in broad daylight, but right out in the open where anybody can see her, she gets her to transform into Rena Rouge. They don't even hide. Also, I'd forgotten that Alia outright complains that she looks like Lila's Akumatai's form in her superhero costume. That's just some fun little continuity. We have a really wholesome sequence of Rena running with Ladybug across the rooftops, just giddy at getting to be a real-life superhero, before they drop in on Cat Noir and rescue him from the Sapotis, just as he gets swarmed and is about to lose his Miraculous. A bit of banter and mild flirting ensues, which honestly just reminds me of that funny Rena Rouge Cat Noir romance arc from the second in-universe movie that drives Nino insane when he thinks Ali is cheating on him in real life with Cat Noir. I will go to my grave saying that we deserve to see those things brought to life, even if it's just an abridged 20-minute version. It would be so much fun, and you all know it. Especially since the plot just outright seems bonkers. But yeah, the dialogue here between Rena and Cat Noir, it's a little bit cringy, but I think that's the idea. That's Cat Noir's whole vibe at this point in the story, and she's just meeting his energy. Meanwhile, Gabe's getting extremely excited at the idea that there's more Miraculouses in the city. After all, the more he gets, the more powerful he becomes. Having the Fox would be especially useful now that I think about it. You could use it to trick heroes, to help people get akumatized, and even do sneaky things like make fake versions of Ladybug and Cat Noir and have them say or do bad things in public to try to damage their PR. That's how wars are won, Gabe. Propaganda. I should be Hawkmoth. So in order to get the 3 Miraculouses, he calls in his army and sends them against the heroes who promptly run away. Fair. No chance you're going to be able to defeat the swarm that easily. Also, look at this. Marinette uses her yo-yo to get up the building. Cat Noir uses his staff. Rena Rouge, though, nah, she's just not skipping leg day, I guess. Ladybug uses her lucky charm and gets a unicycle, and quickly she crafts one of her famously convoluted plans. Using a rickshaw and a cone, she lures the Sapotis to Sapotiland, an amusement park just for them, which is crafted using Ali's illusion powers. Ladybug leads them through a tight alleyway and uses the machine built from a unicycle wheel and rakes to steal all of their hats, which are then collected in a single green bin. Bear in mind that earlier in the episode, we're told that there must be thousands of Sapotis. Thousands! And all their hats fit in the bin. I suppose we're just going to have to ignore that part of the episode, aren't we? Also, did none of the Sapotis at the back of the single file line notice that their hats were being stolen? It feels a bit ridiculous, but I suppose the idea is that they're that eager to get to the theme park. There's definitely been some more BS endings than this for sure. Cat Noir ends up destroying the hats, the original's destroyed, allowing Ladybug to cleanse the Akuma. I did appreciate that they outright acknowledge that these plans are absolutely ridiculous at times though. That made me laugh. We then get a little bit of drama where Ali's at first hesitant to give back her Miraculous. I kind of think this is fair enough though, you know? The reality is that she got a taste of being a superhero for the first time, and it was awesome. I think it would be normal to want to hang on to that power, wouldn't it? I certainly would feel a bit salty that I had to give it back, and then regardless she does the right thing and gives it back to Ladybug in the end, proving that Marinette was right to trust her. On top of that, when she gets back to her place and sees Marinette, she manages to keep the secret, continuing to showcase she's the right choice. And here's where the episode ends, with the two of them just chilling with Alia trying to get Marinette to gush about the new hero Rena Rouge. Bit self-absorbed, but I get it. Man, this episode's just fun. I do think that now we've seen all the heroes, it doesn't quite hit like it did at the time seeing this first new hero, but it really was a massive moment when it first released. It really showcased how Marinette was getting far more responsible and was on the path to becoming a guardian, whilst also managing to expand on Alia's character and backstory. Just some quality writing. Season 2 was so good. Anyway though, with all that being said, that's the end of the episode, and these have all been my opinions, so now I'd like to hear yours. What do you think of Sapotis? Do you think it still holds up? Maybe not. Maybe you never thought it was good. I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.